Joined by Alec, Mr. Alec Grandin. How you doing, man?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Ready to chat some fantasy football here, dude. I just turned off the Colorado USC game, and Colorado's starting to actually look like kind of make a comeback. I don't want to make a comeback because I don't think their defense will actually get a stop. But like, I they
Yeah,
made
they
it.
just pick. They just
Made
got
it
a pick.
yeah, dude, hey, better than the Oregon game last week for them.
Yeah, they got one turnover. Caleb Williams' first turn of the year.
Yeah. Well, before that, he had six passing touchdowns, six incompletions. So
Yeah, yeah.
not a bad game from him. But dude, let's chat some fantasy football here. So I want to start it off with I have a league here. It's my only league on ESPN, and I'm a little bit torn on it. So I'm gonna pull this up here and just share this because I'm a little bit torn on who I want to start with it. Um, so you can see this right now.
Yeah.
Cool. So I got A Rich here. Thank God he's back. Obviously Bijan's there. Saquon, unfortunately he's out, but that's fine. I have Javante in there. My flex is the spot that I'm really torn about. Like DK, Calvin Ridley, Hawkinson, those are locks. I'm not benching any of those guys. Tank Dell, and then I have like the guys that I could put in over him here. I'm looking at like Brandon Ayuk. I'm looking at maybe Josh Kelly, but I've been burnt by Josh Kelly too many times. Like
Yeah.
Drake London against Jacksonville, maybe, right? But like I think it should be Tank Dell or Brandon Ayuk, but where would you lean between those two guys?
I think it's tough because Tank Dell has a good matchup against. I actually think a pretty good matchup against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's given up some yards this year, and the Texans are gonna have to throw a lot probably because their O line stinks and they can't run the ball.
Yeah.
Um, the thing about San Francisco is if did Debo practice yesterday?
Let me look it up.
If Debo isn't playing,
He
like
did.
I wouldn't be surprised if Debo didn't play just because they're playing the Cardinals and they think they would win no matter what.
Um, Debo's listed as questionable officially. 2 days ago, he did not practice.
Does it
Um,
say yesterday?
21 hours ago, Kyle Shanahan. Oh, I know that's talking about Brandon Ayuk. 22 hours ago, Debo Samuel says the knee is a bit more of an issue for him than the ribs, but quote, I feel pretty good. We'll just have to see how I progress.
Okay, so
So,
I wouldn't. I'd probably lean Ayuk if Debo's out,
yeah,
just
no, that's
because.
fair.
Just because. It would be they're going to throw for some yards. So
I mean, you just know that their offense is going to put up 30 points in this game, probably.
yeah,
And while CMC is going to be like the front runner for that, right? It's still an offense that's going to put up 30 points is somebody that if I can get the wide receiver one on, I'll gladly take that, right?
yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, dude, this league is not bad. I'm kind of torn. I think the Calvin Ridley thing is one that like I'm not I'm still kind of torn on Calvin Ridley, right? Because he had that awesome week one, and everybody was like, "This is the Calvin Ridley we remember, right?" Of 2 years ago, the dude that finished wide receiver five in 2019 or 2020, and now in the last 2 weeks he's been just mid. But the thing is so is this Jaguars offense, and we don't expect it to be mid, right?
Yeah, and that's the weird part. Like I have Brandon McManus in a lot of leagues because I thought he'd be like underrated as a
Yeah.
kicker, and he has not been. We missed two last week, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Like last week, I thought they were going to blow out the Texans, and then
Hmm.
they lose by 20.
Yeah.
So it was just
Well,
like like something's not clicking.
no, yeah, and I expect their offense to be putting up like 400 yards every week, and like I expect T-Law to be dealing like he's got really good weapons around him, and they're definitely not. Like I'm gonna pull up the stats here in a second, but like for what he should be putting up, like it's definitely not good. 736 yards, three touchdowns, two picks through 3 games. Like averaging 215 yards a game and a touchdown and like almost a pick a game.
Yeah,
I mean, I would have told you T-Law might be like sleeping for like MVP because of the weapons he's got around him. Because I expect this Doug Peterson led offense to be really good. It really hasn't been.
yeah.
That's the
No,
issue.
they've
But
been pretty bad. ETN's been okay,
yeah,
but
week one against the Colts, he had a decent week. But I think also that was big because he broke one free with like the last in the final
yeah,
like 3 minutes of the game.
and Evan Ingram has been getting yards, but
Hmm.
just like they have. It's kind of hard to perform when you don't throw a lot of passing touchdowns. So
Yep, exactly. When your team has three passing touchdowns, it's hard to
yeah,
be legitimate
Yes.
receiver there. Where do you see this Jaguars team getting to in the playoffs? Because I've thought about that. I think they're going to win the division. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think like the division's just bad enough; they're going to be fine. But like, assuming they kind of figure it out and we get the Jaguars we expected to see, how far do you see them going in the playoffs this year?
I mean, if their offense looks like it did week 1, and like what the ceiling is, I mean, I think they could make. I mean, it's just so hard in the AFC.
Yeah,
I just don't know if a Jags team could beat a fully healthy Bengals team.
yeah.
I don't know if the Jags could beat Buffalo in Buffalo.
hmm
I don't know if I mean, I don't think the Jags could beat Kansas. I mean, we saw last year they had put up a pretty good fight last year,
Yeah, no, they did.
Kansas City. But I don't know. Like they would have to take a exorbitant step to do that again, and I just don't see it
Yes. Well, even from the defensive side of the ball, I don't see this Jags team being able to go to Miami and prevent Tyreek Hill from going off for 220 and a touchdown,
yet. Yeah.
and prevent like Tua from throwing for 400.
Yeah, and
You know what I
the thing
mean?
about Miami, the thing about Miami is like they're killing it now. But the problem with Miami that I have is we've seen this before in small glimpses, and
Yeah.
then it just goes away. And I know because Tua got hurt last year, but
hmm
we've seen this. They play great in September, like their offense is clicking early, and then they kind of just get shut down a couple weeks. So, um,
I think this
it,
week's gonna be a really good test of it because you just came off of a nearly record-setting like game, right? And now you have to go play at Buffalo, right? Is
is it
that
at
Buffalo?
Buffalo?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
Let
at
me.
Buffalo. Yeah.
Yeah, so now you're going to play at Buffalo, and in a spot where you would expect them to let down, right? And so now, I mean, and Buffalo's got plenty good of a defense, right? So I mean, they shut somebody out last week.
They didn't shut. No, they played the Commanders last week,
It
and they
was
won
it was bad
37
though,
to
wasn't it?
3. Yeah, 37.
37-3. Okay, yeah, um, yeah, but
Yeah,
either way, I mean,
Joey Sly hit a 51 yarder with 46 seconds left to not get.
is that when they scored with 46 seconds
Yeah,
left? Hey, dude, I mean, I would want to score, right? I don't want to get shut out.
yeah. No,
Joey
I mean
Sly
I get that one. Sam
got
Howell
around.
threw 4 picks. So yeah, Buffalo's coming off. I mean, so I'm not comparing Sam Howell to Tua. I'm just saying like Buffalo had forced 4 turns last week.
Yeah.
So and then against LA, so they've had 6 picks the last 2 weeks. So
hmm
it's gonna be interesting to see what Miami does.
Yeah, if Tua can take care of the ball. The other thing too is that Mike McDaniel is just growing and growing and growing as a coach. Like he is getting to the point where offensively it's like the Kyle Shanahan type of you're scheming guys open constantly.
Is he the
And
only coach in the NFL that vapes? Do you think?
no, I bet there's other ones that do.
Do you think? I think but it's. Have you seen him run off the field?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
No,
But
I just.
I know Dan Campbell packs hogs, dude.
Well,
Like
the thing about and Mike McDaniel's so funny just because he like literally is like one of the smartest coaches in the NFL and just doesn't care.
yeah.
Like he negatively cares.
Have you seen those things? It's like POV, like Mike McDaniel at a press conference, and they're like, "How are you going to stop this defense or this offense this week?" Hopefully, just don't let them score and stuff. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I could see Kyle Shanahan ripping one. I could see like Sean Payton ripping like especially now he's in Denver. I could see him hitting like what's the weed vape?
Um.
A dab pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him hitting those. But I feel
Yeah.
like you have to in Denver. That was probably in their job interview.
Dude, he's getting paid a lot. I wish that NFL head coach, like how college, because they're like public officials, you know how much they make.
hmm
I wish you would know, like we would know how much like these NFL coaches make. It has to be a ton.
Yeah. Well, there's no way that they would. I feel like there's no way they would let college coaches make more than them. You know what I mean?
Well, like you got to think like, so I'm looking at this right now. Like when Sean Payton signed his extension with the Saints in 2019, he was making 13 mil a year there.
Jeez.
So I'm guessing he's making at least 15 now to get him out of.
You're gonna give him. Yeah. I would agree with that.
I mean, Bill Belichick's he's like the GM too. He's probably making at least like 20, 15 to 20. I don't know.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I'm in a lot of leagues. So
I'm gonna go ahead and just share this here, and we'll talk through these different teams and the fantasy impact of them. Dude, another guy that I'm just kind of torn on is D Hop with the Titans there, dude, because like every week in week out, I don't know whether I want to like include him in my team or not because I don't know what D Hop I'm getting. And I think it's less of like which D Hop am I getting? I think it's more of like which Titans offense am I getting?
Yeah, and I don't think it's a good matchup for them this week. Like Derrick Henry,
No.
the last 2-3 times he's played the Bengals has really struggled, and the Titans offense has really struggled. Like if there's and just my thing like with Derrick Henry in general, I didn't know this, but in September in his career he averages less than 4 yards a carry, and then in I forget, I think it's like middle of the season he averages like 4.5 or something. And then the last like 6 games of the year, he averages like over 5.5 yards per carry in his career. It might be 6, something crazy like that.
It's probably because he plays the Texans then.
Well, true, but also like people get hurt, people are tired.
Yeah.
And I don't think this offense is good enough when people are fresh at the beginning of the year to like get yards.
Well, we just saw it. They played Cleveland. Cleveland has a great defense. Don't get me wrong, like a wonderful defense, but. Like you put up less than 100 total yards.
It's crazy.
Offense
I mean, that's like
an NFL game.
I mean, that's like if Zach Wilson is getting more than 100 yards, like Zach Wilson's the worst quarterback in the NFL. Like that's not a starter.
Yeah. Yes.
But Ryan Tannehill is making a case to try to out him on that.
Well, that's the issue too. Is it's like the same thing that we see with Garrett Wilson right now, right? And he's struggling to get this production because of like Zach Wilson's so bad. But it's like. Okay, well, that's the exact same thing that D Hop's getting. You know what I mean?
Like D Hop,
great player.
The problem with D Hop, it's like in a fantasy, it's like in the fantasy realm. It's like when you're looking for a tight end and you see Zach Ertz is getting 8 targets a game, but then you realize that only 3 of those targets are catchable, and they're like 4 yards down the field. You're like, well, I don't really know what to do with that.
Yes, exactly. Like. All right, so we got a start 3. It's full PPR. Chase, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Godwin, JSN, and T.
I'm out. Let's just start. I'm out on JSN until his yards until his average depth of target is not 1 yard.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Chase and AJ Brown are locks, right?
Yep.
Garrett Wilson is. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm out on JSN currently. I think he's a good stash guy there.
Yep.
But. Okay, so Garrett Wilson, Godwin, T. That's an insane.
Like if T was on a different team, yeah, but like if the Bengals struggle, you don't want to start both.
Mm-hmm. But then it's another one of those things where it's like if Burrow comes out and is just dealing this week, like
that absolutely could happen too.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing with Garrett Wilson, Garrett Wilson, I feel like Garrett Wilson's kind of touchdown dependent at this point.
Yes, but I will say I think he's turning a little bit of the corner with like getting catches. Like I'm gonna pull up his.
He had 5 last week. Here. He had 8 targets week two, but he only had 2 catches though.
Yeah, see that's what I'm saying is like last week he had 8 targets as well, I believe. 9 targets and he had 5 catches. So at least like his targets or his catches to target ratio is going up. But at the same time, I like Godwin. I think is a fine option. I don't know who would you start between Wilson, Godwin, T. This is the hard one.
I probably wouldn't do T just in case the Bengals have another bad game.
Yeah.
Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore's kind of had his number the last couple times, so that is something to watch in case he gets shut down. They need somebody else. I'm just looking at Godwin's targets real quick.
Yeah, the other thing too about Garrett Wilson though is you're playing the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to put up points. You know they are.
So they're just going to try to air it out.
I feel like you're going to have to. And yeah, the Jets. And I also think that there's been enough of there's been enough of just drama with Zach Wilson between like the locker room and what's going on there that if he comes out and plays terrible in the first half, I wouldn't be surprised at all you're going to see him benched. And if I would expect Wilson to get touches. Like
I think everybody also drafted Wilson way too high to not start him over somebody like Godwin. Just
I
because
think
the
you give it
talent.
1 or 2 more weeks with Wilson, and just ride with it. Get burnt if you have to get burnt, but I think that the talent is there, and you paid a high price for him. You're going to want to at least stick it out a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too.
Um,
I don't think you bail like completely yet.
no, is this a? I wonder how many teams are in this league. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because if you could flip one of those wide receivers for like a running back, or I don't know who your running backs are, but I mean you have 4 or 5 really good like should be starting every week wide receivers. You know what I mean?
10, yeah,
10 men.
that's a good
Jeez.
wide receiver core.
Yeah, that's an insane receiving core there.
Or you could flip one of those tight or one of those wide receivers, and then like and maybe somebody else for like a tight end.
Yeah, I don't know what the rest of your team is looking like. He's Christian
Oh
Watson
wow,
too. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know what your running backs are looking like, but that is a strong wide receiver core there.
looks like a it looks like a no RB strategy. If I had to
Yeah.
guess, like what you went with.
Yeah, probably second round was Chase AJ, right?
Third Wilson,
And then third you
fourth
got
probably
Wilson.
T. Maybe T went to the
fourth.
Yeah, probably yeah.
Yeah, fourth was probably T, and then you had
Christian Watson in the fifth or sixth.
Yeah, I think you probably could have got Watson in the sixth.
Yeah, in a 10 team, yeah.
Yeah, like I wouldn't draft him like right by T. I would think.
Yeah, so I'm looking at what you're sharing right now again, and just talk about this because Caleb Williams is balling today.
Yes.
Shedeur Sanders is kind of balling now too. Colorado's driving. The sorry, running backs. Ford. Oh wow, dude, this team's good.
Jeez, that's a league-winning team.
Yeah, who's your QB and tight end?
If he hits us with a Rich and Sam Laporta, I'm gonna bat a flip, dude.
And he's gonna say he's 0-3.
yeah, dude. That team is good. That team is really good. I would, if I were you, I would look into flipping a T Higgins or a Godwin, especially if they have a good week in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, you could also flip them and like Jerome Ford for like a better running back.
Yeah, or even if you wanted to do Jacobs in one of them,
and for like
a big name, big name.
Yeah, Watson, Ingram, Pitts, dude, that's a good team.
That is a really good team. Sorry about Pitts, but
he's so good. He's so good, and he's just stuck, and it sucks.
Yeah, I can't wait for his rookie contract to expire so we can get
the hell
out of Atlanta.
Awesome. It's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah, dude, I wonder how many teams are gonna be interested. In all honesty,
a lot. Oh my god! If you watch his film, they do like the film breakdowns. He's just always open.
The thing that sucks for him, dude, is he's like missing out on a payday because like he didn't get used. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he has leverage to go say, "Hey, I deserve a tight end, contract that's top 3 in the league right now." Because
sucks.
Yeah, he doesn't put up any of those numbers, but
I think, and I don't think the Falcons would be bad enough for Arthur Smith to get fired.
Yeah, well, they're also probably not bad enough to move on from Ritter. Is the issue? Like
Taylor Heineke, that's who we need.
Maybe, dude. I mean, at least Heineke will get in and sling the ball. Somebody sent Christian Watson, A-Chain, and we'll go ahead and pin that here. Watson, A-Chain, and Engram for James Cook, Ramondre Stevenson, Quentin Johnston. Ooh. I don't know, Alec, what are you thinking with this one?
Oh, I think he did that already.
Got sent. Oh, okay, so you're saying you not somebody offered this to you. This is you traded
Watson,
A-Chain, and Engram. I would probably prefer to have Cook Stevenson.
Yeah, I think I would too, especially with the Mike Williams injury now.
Yeah. I wonder, when was this trade? Was this preseason or was this like this week? Or because if this was like this week, then like that would make A-Chain harder to get, right? But at the same time would make Watson easier to get because he hasn't played yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, if A-Chain, if you would have done that trade before A-Chan, sorry, not whatever change.
Yes.
If you would have done that before, that'd be kind of you'd be kind of getting screwed before this past week.
Yeah, he just got sent this. And hasn't accepted it yet.
He's getting.
So yeah, so if you are receiving James Cook, Ramondre Stevenson, Quentin,
do that immediately.
Johnson, accept that. I would say
do that immediately. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say accept that because realistically, looking at your receivers, if you need to start 3, Mason, AJ Brown are locks.
Yeah,
Garrett Wilson, Godwin, and T are plenty of options.
Dude.
And then James Cook and Ramondre Stevenson might come in and start like immediately.
And then you could trade Ingram. You could trade Ingram and like
Well, Ingram's already in there.
no, I know. Oh, I'm sorry. You could trade like somebody else for like a couple of your backups or maybe like a starter. Like you could even do like Garrett Wilson and like I don't know, like Ford for like a really good tight end. Or you just do like somebody lower for a good tight end.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, I think like Sam Laporta would be a good guy to target. I would say if you can, see if you can give up Pitts instead of Ingram in that trade.
Oh yeah,
that's just me though.
I like that too.
I would say if you can give up Pitts, or maybe like text. I don't know if you're in a league if you know him, but text him and say, hey, would you prefer Pitts or not? Because keep it so where you can accept it like right away. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you're kind of hitting the bank on this. But yeah, dude, yeah. That is a good looking trade. I would be thrilled about that if I were you.
Well, you're getting the two best players in the trade. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, no way.
I would say so.
No way Devon Achane, like no way he goes for 40 or 50 again. So
I think it's a perfect situation where you're selling high on Achane. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah. You're selling at his
just put up
peak.
Yes. He just put up a great week and a week where they literally about broke records. I think you're going to be just fine. Like, they're not going to repeat that, right? He might still have more good weeks, but you're not going to repeat that.
Also, Ramondre Stevenson, like, he's literally playing like all the snaps. So, I mean, it's good.
Yes.
Fine.
Yeah. I mean, Zeke got a good amount of carries last week, but Ramondre Stevenson, I think, is still dominating that backfield. And James Cook's been looking really good, dude. Like, really good. And his touches are just continuing to go up.
Yeah, the touchdown upside's not there, but
but the reception is.
Yeah, if it's PPR,
you said full PPR. Yeah, I said PPR. So yeah, absolutely, dude. Like
1 and 2.
He's 1 and 2.
Well, I mean, I get AJ Brown's been AJ Brown and Jamar Chase the first 2 weeks were terrible.
Yeah.
So.
And and Josh Jacobs too.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs has been bad. So.
Yeah, Chase and Jacobs are.
Now this is one where if you do that trade, you just got to trust the process.
Yeah, this is one of those where
you'll eventually
he'll
eventually win.
Like Chase is heating up. You're getting two like bell cow workhorses and running backs and James Cook and Ramondre Stevenson. So like you add those to Jerome Ford and Josh Jacobs, you can find between those four, two of them that are going to have good matchups for the week. And then you have elite receivers still too. So no, I think you're good. That stinks that you're 1 and 2. That way to sell high on HN though. You're fleecing that deal, dude. I'm looking at this here. I'm thinking I'm gonna put the Lions up to the Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding, but dude, we looked really good the other day.
Yeah, you did.
And Jameson Williams is back. Did you see that?
Yeah. I'm not high. I'm not big on Jameson Williams, but
I'm not in fantasy. In fantasy purposes, I'm really not high on like playing him right away. But I will say, for the Lions' sake, I'm pretty stoked about that.
Oh, absolutely.
For this week, start Ford, Achane, or White. Let me look at the matchups real quick. Because, okay, so, but Deshaun Watson's questionable as well. Cleveland's got Baltimore. Miami's got Buffalo, which I'm not a fan of. And then, who was the other one? Oh, Rachaad White. In all honesty, I think I would go Ford.
Yeah. I'd probably say Ford too. I mean, I don't know how much more Kareem Hunt's going to play this week, but
yeah, the other thing too though is that Rachaad White has been playing some like a few difficult defensive lines. I guess just last week he against Philly was very difficult, right? And he had 38 yards and then 3 catches for 24 yards. So, I mean, what is that? 9 points in full PPR. And you look at the weeks before that, he's got 73 yards for a touchdown, including 5 catches the week before that. He's got, where's it at? 2 catches and then 39 yards against Minnesota. So not a great week. I don't know. I think I would go with, I think I would go with White this week against the Saints. Dude, Derrick Henry kind of tore up the Saints in the passing game too. If Derrick Henry's doing that in the passing game, Rachaad White's going to have a heyday.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I think each one of these guys has a tough matchup this week.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I think White's upside. I think White can have a great game without needing a touchdown.
Yeah.
Trade Puka, Lockett, and Kyren to get Ridley, Judy, and Connor. All right, let's look at this one. RBs would be Alvin, Stevenson, Connor, Gibbs. That's a great running back. Wide receiver would be Ridley, Waddle, Ayuk, Addison, Terry, Judy.
Also have Josh Allen and Travis Kelce.
Puka, Lockett, Kyren, Ridley.
Here's my thing about Puka. So Cooper Kupp is practicing starting next week. I don't know when he's going to come back to play. Tyler Lockett is just like a wide receiver. Like he'll finish as a wide receiver 2 this year. Like just because he always does somehow.
You think?
Oh, I mean, he just always does. So yeah. Kyren, he gets every snap. We talked about that before.
Yeah. But I think everything you say about Kyren getting snaps, you could also say for James Conner.
Yes. Yeah. No. You're absolutely right. The problem is the Rams' offense is better than the Cardinals.
Yes. Running back would be Alvin, Stevenson, Connor, Gibbs. I mean, in all honesty, I think you do this because Ridley Waddle is like if you don't have Ridley and you have Puka and Waddle as your wide receiver 1, 2, then I think that you have you don't have a wide receiver 1 on their own team.
I think when Kupp comes back, Puka becomes more like a Jerry Jeudy / like in between Ayuk and Jerry Jeudy, or maybe like an Ayuk.
Yeah.
Like
I could see it.
He's not going to get 12 targets a game, or you know what I mean?
No, and also what we've seen out of Puka too is somebody that kind of needs like 12 targets a game to be fantasy relevant. You know what I mean?
Well, because he hasn't been scoring, so it's just based solely off. Now this is okay. Is it full PPR? He didn't say.
Yeah, no. If this is full PPR,
Puka's
I think either way, I want Ridley. That's just my opinion. I think Ridley's the best player in that trade, and
I think you could sell high on Kyren Williams too. I just don't know if he can keep this up.
Well, also what we were saying too is that you don't just play every single snap as a running back and not start to deal with some injuries.
12 teams.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very rare that somebody plays the whole year as the bell cow. Not just the bell cow, but every snap.
Yes, exactly. Like the likelihood of him continuing the season, playing every single snap, and not getting injured,
very high.
No, but I think that the Ridley upside of having that true wide receiver 1 dude that's going to give you that top 12 value week in, week out. I think Ridley has that for the rest of the season, right? He might not hit it consistently, but he at least has it. Whereas I don't think Puka, as soon as Kupp's back, doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So I would accept that. I would be on that Ridley, Judy, Connor side. But yeah, dude. I mean, for Jameson Williams, kind of what we were talking about. I think he's going to help the Lions a ton in the sense that he can just open up the field. You know what I mean? Like we ran on not last night, 2 nights ago. We ran that jet sweep for Khalif Raymond for picked up 40 yards.
Yep.
If that's Jameson Williams, that might be a touchdown. And we ended up scoring on the drive anyway, so it's not like it mattered. But I think he just allows it to open it up a lot more. Absolutely, Mike. We'll see you back next time. But thanks for tuning in. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those where just allows you just the threat of the speed that Jameson Williams has just allows you to open up the field more, open up your playbook more. I'm hoping we start to use Jahmyr Gibbs, dude. I'm just confused by it.
Yeah, I actually don't mind you guys not using him. for a lot of carries because like why would you guys waste him when you guys have like why would you guys just waste hits on his body when you guys have David Montgomery right now?
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, like he's explosive as hell. So like, let's
but he only
get him the ball.
He's in the 190s though.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I don't know. It's just like I understand what you're saying, but just from the aspect of like, I don't know. I just hate when smaller guys get a ton of in between the tackle carries in the NFL.
yes, I'm with you there, and I think Demont should get like nearly all of the in between the tackle carries, but I also think that like Jahmyr Gibbs should be thrown to on a screen like minimum twice a game.
I agree with that. You know like, I mean? If I'm not using, like, I agree with that 100%.
You don't, and something we haven't seen at all yet, really, despite maybe like a few snaps, is Goff in the shotgun with two, like a running back on either side, and Gibbs motions out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, or like that's something that can be very dangerous. Having two running backs that like, what are you going to do? Are you going to do inside zone? With Demont running like left into the inside zone, or are you going to do an outside zone with Gibbs running to the right and Demont like as a lead blocker? You know what I mean? Yeah, we just haven't seen any of that at all. But at the same time, my football knowledge, my play calling knowledge is like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just terrible compared to what Ben Johnson's is. I completely trust Ben Johnson in play calling, and our offense is scoring plenty of points. So like, I trust him. But at the same time, I just wish I don't know how happy Gibbs is. That's my fear. Is somebody that got drafted that high expected to come in and get a ton of carries? He's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and here's and one thing that I always go back to that I have been for the last couple of weeks because I have Gibbs in a couple of leagues. It's like Alvin Kamara got like 30% of the carries his first year, so it's not like a detrimental thing long term.
No,
like it's not like he can never like for a dynasty. Like you shouldn't be trading Jahmyr Gibbs at all.
No,
like you shouldn't be panicking on him at all.
And I think even in like redrafts, you should not be panicking.
Of course not, because he's
like this is somebody that like as of you look at the playoff times, right? Like when you in weeks 14, 15, 16, this is a guy that could legitimately be putting up 7 catches a week as a running back.
Oh, like, of course.
When he gets to that time.
Think of Alvin Kamara at his prime. That is the ceiling. No, well, that's not true. Gibbs could be better. Who knows? I'm just saying, like, like they're very similar players.
Yes.
Except the thing with Gibbs is he's probably fast, like quite significantly faster.
Yes, I think his top speed and even like his acceleration, his balance isn't the level that Kamara
is. But Kamara is also like bigger though. Like he weighs more.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm just saying, like with the way they move, very like agile. They're just agile running backs. They're not who can receive.
Yeah. The other thing too is that like Gibbs doesn't have a touchdown yet. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to continue. You're in an offense that scored like 20 rushing touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
And like I understand Demont's getting a lot of them, right? But like you're going to get touchdowns. Like you're going to get probably. I bet he finishes with like 3 receiving touchdowns on the year probably. And probably between like 4 and 6 rushing touchdowns, just because he's going to be like getting so like this team is just going to be scoring a ton of points, and he's going to be on the field, and his playtime is going to continue to go up, right? So I'm not selling on Jahmyr Gibbs. I would buy low on Jahmyr Gibbs right now, actually.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm sure there's a lot.
If you could,
if you looked at Twitter during the game Thursday, you would think that Jahmyr Gibbs he finished with 9 points in PPR, almost 10. I mean, that's a solid. I mean, that's a flex play. I mean, that's not like it's not like he's getting. And he had 8 carries for 40 yards. Had the 3 catches?
Yeah, 3 catches for ish 3 catches.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's not. I mean, if he's gonna get 3 to 4 catches a game, I mean, he's a flex play.
Yes, like, and yeah, he had 8 carries. Now the second. Like, and Demont carried the ball 32 times in that game.
You know what?
He's not going to carry the ball 32 times in most games.
Here's my thing: if you guys are going to win if the Lions are going to win a Super Bowl, I don't know if it's going to be with Jared Goff, but I think that if you guys could prolong your window for as long as possible and not have to kill Gibbs when he's 21 years old in between the tackles, I think that's really going to help, especially if you guys are going to win games anyway.
Yeah.
Like if you guys are going to win, like it doesn't like if you guys are going to win anyway. Like that game was out of hand pretty early,
Yes.
so no need to
Yes.
hand the ball off to Gibbs in between the tackles.
Yes.
Like just kind of kill David Montgomery. I mean, if you're going to kill David Montgomery, I mean he's only be under contract for like 2 more years. So
yeah. All right. So this guy's sending a trade, receive Tyler Lockett and Joe Mixon, but giving away Josh Jacobs and Garrett Wilson. It's PPR. I would hold on to Jacobs and Wilson if it's me. I think Jacobs has had like as bad as you could possibly imagine start rushing the ball, and he still has been okay given the fact that like he finished the game with negative rushing yards. You know what I mean? So I would say hold on to those. Also, Garrett Wilson, who knows what the chemistry that he would develop, that he might develop with Zach Wilson. You know what I mean? Give it 2 or 3 more weeks, and he might be. I mean, his target share's been there, like, and it's been fine. I mean, he had 8 targets, 9 targets the last 2 weeks. That's fine.
Yeah, I think that Tyler Lockett's ceiling is probably wide receiver 16 through 20. Probably that's probably his ceiling, just because of DK Metcalf and JSN might catch on. You never know. Joe Mixon, I think, he gets the touches, but I'm a Bengals fan. He's very inconsistent some weeks. Some weeks will get you a lot of points. The Joe Mixon games where he rushes for 24 yards and Joe Burrow goes off will come. So he just like if you think that Josh Jacobs is inconsistent, just wait till you have Joe Mixon. I that's just my opinion, because that offense is naturally a passing offense.
Yes.
And what you said about Josh Jacobs, like the worst start you could literally possibly imagine. So that just means that people are trying to buy low on him, and Tyler Lockett and Mixon is buying low on Jacobs and Wilson. If the Jets get another quarterback, like one that could actually consistently throw the ball down the field, Garrett Wilson's a top 12 wide receiver again. So
yeah, I mean, Josh Jacobs has 108 yards and 0 touchdowns.
Also, the
the catches are there too. That's the positive aspect of this, is that he's got 10 for 92 in 3 games, and that was always the issue with Josh Jacobs, right? Is he's never getting catches. Now he is. If you're gonna give me catches, Josh Jacobs' touchdowns will come throughout the year. Dalton. If I'm you, I would hold on to Jacobs and Wilson at least for a few more weeks, especially with it being PPR.
I also think that like Kendrick Bourne isn't a very big factor here.
Yeah,
just because he has the spike weeks, he'll have some weeks where he gets 3 catches for 28 yards, but then he'll have some weeks for 6 with 1 for 110 and a touchdown. But you can't, you'll never be able to tell when that'll happen.
Yeah. No, I would hold on to Jacobs and Wilson at least for a few more weeks. Maybe pull the trigger on Wilson in 3 weeks when, I mean, they still haven't done anything to get a quarterback and they're still looking rough. But I would say hold on to Wilson.
Yeah, because the problem, like Wilson this week, most likely his value is going to go down just because they're playing the Chiefs and they might get locked up. Honestly, if anybody's listening, that if you were to buy Garrett Wilson or buy Breece Hall, it would be after this week.
Yeah.
Like, I think this might be the last week where you could buy Breece Hall for low, because last week he had twice as many snaps as Dalvin Cook after they split the week before. So I think they're realizing that Dalvin Cook is kind of cooked a little bit, and that he's, I don't know, maybe not what he has been in Minnesota for the past 4 to 5 years. And as Breece Hall gets healthy, I think he'd be a good buy too. So I'd hold on to Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, for sure, Dalton. And we appreciate you tuning in, man. But it's I think there's like a list of names that like the guys that you want to buy low on, like right now. Like T. Higgins is another one that I want to buy low on, like especially after the week he just had. Drops have never been a real big issue for him. Yeah. He just had a terrible game for drops. Yeah. He's not. It's not like it's a recurring issue that we're so concerned about, right?
Yeah.
But like, he's gonna get it figured out, and when he does, he's a dog. I mean, we saw in week 2, he's a dog.
Yeah.
So like, if you could buy low on T. Higgins right now as well, another guy that I'd be interested in there. But dude, so this Colorado game is back to a 1 possession.
Yeah, Colorado just kicked an onside kick, and USC guy, it's over.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, I've been watching it.
I got the notification.
Dude, I think Shedeur Sanders could go top 10.
the thing that he is going to have going for him is that he has his dad as his coach, which is going to allow him to throw the ball a ton. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like today, Caleb Williams was 30 for 40 for 403 and 6 touchdowns and 1 pick.
Yeah.
But Shador was 30 for 45, so 66%, 371, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 50 rushing yards
Yeah.
and a touchdown.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty good.
No, this quarterback class that's coming in is actually insane. I mean, we might be looking at like a 2020 or 2019 quarterback class. You know what I mean? The one that we got Burrow, Herbert, Hurts, Tua, Jordan Love is in that one as well. You know, we might be looking at a draft class like that when we have Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Shador Sanders. Like we haven't even mentioned Quinn Ewers yet. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there are plenty of them, and that's not even mentioning
Riley
any
Leonard.
of like and anybody from like non-huge schools. You know what I mean? That's gonna have a good season this year.
Yep.
That's gonna break out. So, like Noah Kim. I mean,
Stop, dude.
just kidding. He's awful.
Stop, dude. The under for the I was looking at the over under for the Iowa game because Iowa is the worst offense in any level of football, I think, in the country. And the over under for that game is 36.
Well, I can tell you that my Michigan State Spartans are probably going to score a firm 7 if they have a great game. So so don't be counting on much. If you're taking the over there, don't be counting on much out of the Spartans.
Dude, yeah, if you're taking an over in that, like if you're betting on that over under of that game, dude, you need to you need to go touch grass. Like it's like that's like one of those where it's like, dude, what are we doing?
Yeah, I will say though, in this upcoming draft here, so we have obviously Caleb Williams is going to be first quarterback, right? Going to be first pick. Who do you think the second quarterback is off the board? Because like I feel like before the season it was Drake May undoubtedly. Drake May gives me ultimate Sam Howell vibes. Like ultimate.
Yeah, I think here's the
like same school. He has a great receiving core his junior year, then doesn't go pro, decides to come back, loses his receivers, and now he's looked very mid. Like,
yeah, I think the difference is that, from what I've read, is that Drake May is a lot more accurate than Sam Howell. He's over 70% still, and also his arm strength is unbelievable. Yeah, he's like A+ arm strength.
He's giving him Madden grades out here.
No, I just saw. I've been looking at some mock drafts for next year, and that's what a lot of people say. His arm strength's just crazy. So
yeah, I mean, do you think like Penix or Shador could jump him,
dude?
As a second or second pick?
Penix is really good. I think Shador could too. I don't know if he could jump him. I could see 5 QBs in the top 20 picks, though.
I could see 5 in the top 12, in all honesty.
Yeah. I mean, those 5. So Williams, May, Shador, Ewers, and Michael Penix. Michael Penix and a lot of them is like a day 2 pick, but if he throws for 50 to 55 touchdowns and 5,000 yards,
my thing is he's maybe probably the best deep ball thrower in college football right now.
How old? Hold on, let's see how old he is though.
Because he played for several years at
Indiana. So he is 23. He's 23, yeah.
That's not bad.
So that's not yeah, so he's not like old.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should be fine.
You know what would be nice is if one of those 5 fell to. No, I'm not, dude. I'm in on Goff. I'm not even gonna try to think about that. I'm in on Goff.
Here's the difference with Drake May too. Drake May just turned 21.
Yeah.
So like, would a team look at Drake May and say, "Holy crap! Like, if we could get this guy in here when he's 21, we could develop him a lot. You know, we could develop him a lot, and he has a lot more."
Right. Like, if you're taking Michael Penix, you're like. You could bench Drake May for 2 years and he'd be what Penix would be like when he comes into the league. So, no, I think it's a fair point. But there's going to be I will say there's about 4 or 5 teams in the NFL. Like we look at these teams here, right?
Yeah.
The Commanders, the Falcons, the Patriots, in my opinion. The Titans.
Bears probably. I mean, they're probably going to move on from. They're probably going to fire their coach and move on from Justin Fields.
Yeah, but like, there's 4 teams here that like need quarterbacks, and then you have like, yeah, the Bucks. Yes, the Bucks as well. But then you also have like, all right, Stafford is with the Rams, right? He's getting close to being done. Rodgers is getting close to being done. I'm trying to look through the rest of this and see who else is like close to being done. I mean, the Cowboys should move on from Dak Prescott.
Potentially, the Seahawks need one.
Yes, yeah. Well, I would be surprised for the Seahawks to
like if they traded up.
If they had, yeah, if whoever Shador's there at 11 still,
and they trade up and just have him sit behind Geno for a year. Because Geno's he's on a 3-year, right?
Yes.
Let's see.
I believe so.
3 years. What was this? Yeah, 3 years, 75 mil. 25 mil a year for Geno is actually really not that bad.
No.
And then so basically it's like, so next year, 31 million cap hit, 17 dead. Next year after that, 33.7 cap hit, 8.7 dead. So like they could just cut him after next year.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to. So yeah, that'd be a good team too. Did you said the Raiders though, right?
Yes. I can't, they're not, but if I didn't, I meant to. Okay. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 teams that need quarterbacks yet. So like I'm not putting the Cardinals in there because they at least have Kyler Murray. Like,
yeah, they don't need one. It's going to be interesting if the Cards get the first pick. If they do take Caleb, where would Kyler go?
Mm-hmm. Also, if Houston, like where Houston ends up, you know what I mean? Like, because we could be seeing like Arizona like have an unreal like rebuild if you flipped the 2nd overall pick into Paris Johnson, several other picks, and then you have the Texans first round this year. You could have a top 7 pick probably, right?
Yeah, if you could flip the 2nd over, like if you could flip, yeah, if you could basically turn Will Anderson into Paris Johnson and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a pretty fair trade.
Yep, and other.
Yeah, and the other. Yeah, other. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that'd be unbelievable.
Yeah, it would. So
because Paris Johnson actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, especially for being a rookie. Like,
well, and on like literally just an awful O-line where like you're not getting a lot of help.
Yes. It's not like you're being put into like the Eagles offensive line with like Jason Kelce like leading you and Lane Johnson on the opposite side of you. Like,
yeah, Paris Johnson's his PFF grade right now is 53, but I can't see his pass block percentage. But like, I mean, he's a rookie. He'll be fine.
I think
they drafted him at 6.
No, they drafted him at like.
Was it later?
I thought that they traded back to. No. Never mind. They traded up with Detroit, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought at 6. Yeah, it was 6. Yeah, because Detroit could have taken. We were talking about they should. I mean, in all honesty,
they could take
Detroit should have taken Jalen Carter. Yeah.
Yes, and that's who I wanted because I was watching it with you.
Well, no, you wanted Tyree Wilson too.
I wanted either of them.
He's not looking too good yet.
No, he's not. I wanted either of them, or Christian Gonzalez. And then at 12, I wanted Christian Gonzalez too because I was like, dude, there's no way he's still there. I want Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah,
he's been a dog.
Lucas Van Ness went 13. I forgot about that. Or Will McDonald went 15. There's always a couple people every time where you're like, what?
Yeah, I mean Detroit had 2 of them, so. I mean, Jack Campbell was like a middle 2nd rounder.
When you're looking at this draft, you're like, I don't know if I see like a ton of like all pros. I feel like this isn't going to be a class where like there's just like a ton of like what year is that? I'm looking through it right now. Where like, well, at 2022, I mean this first round's loaded, dude. Hutchinson,
really?
Derek Stingley was good before he got hurt. Sauce. Ike Mekwonu is good. Drake London.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Cross was good before he got hurt, put on IR. Garrett Wilson, Olave. Jordan Davis is good. Kyle Hamilton's good. Like this first round's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think the Burrow year, Was that 9? Was that 20? Oh no, dude. It was
Burrow was 19. Burrow was 19. Chase was
2021,
20, I
dude.
think.
Lawrence, Pitts, Chase, Waddle, Sewell, J.C. Horn's good when he's healthy. Surtain,
Parsons.
yeah, Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons, Slater, Vera Tucker. Like, dude, that first 12 picks, the only bad player is Wilson Lance.
Yeah.
And I feel bad.
Which is insane.
Like,
dude, the 49ers traded so much to go up and get Lance, and there's so many good options there other than
you know what's
him.
funny, though? It doesn't even matter because they drafted Purdy. Like, it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can say it doesn't matter, but imagine.
Well, I'm just it. People are freaking out about it, but they have the best roster in the NFL still.
Yes.
They don't hit on first rounders usually, actually, but 2 through 7, they're insane drafters.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's my thing with Brad Holmes too, dude. Every year in, year out, every single time, his later round draft picks are unreal. Yep. Sam Laporta over Michael Mayer. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?" Well, he's a dog.
Well, you should have known. He got tight end you.
Yeah, I mean Brian Branch, dude, got him late. The first rounders is definitely not Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got in the 4th round. The first rounders definitely have not been great. I mean, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs have not paid out yet.
No,
and you don't necessarily see it. I mean, it's early, right? But you don't see it yet. But
I mean, you still don't know.
Right, but either way, I think that's probably gonna bring us to the end of this, though. We'll be back with more streams coming to talk some fantasy football, just talk football in general.